Thank you very much. I'm going to be speaking about a mural tonight, and
You may start it.
oh, sure, go ahead. Yes, and okay, all right. So I've been doing. I don't know. I lost it. Okay, no, I'm going to be talking tonight about this mural project that I've been doing at the University of Memphis, and I'm very proud of this project, and I apologize for the boastful title. It's a little bit like, egotistical, but it's actually kind of true. And part of the reason I can brag about this mural is, well, I mean, it is epic, and it's epic in part because of its size. It takes up these 3 stairwells. We've done 2 of them now, and they have 32-foot walls and skylights at the top and stuff like that. So it's epic in that sense. It's also epic because it's immersive. When you enter into the space, it surrounds you, and you see the mural on all around. And I've seen people walk in and gasp or their jaws drop and stuff like that. Another reason I can brag about it, in part, is that it's not entirely mine. It was a team effort, and it was a result of this amazing team of artists that have come together to make this happen. And I also can brag about it in part because it doesn't feel like my creation. It feels like its own living, breathing thing. And it's an organism in a way. It's come to life. And that's largely because of this guy. This is the patron of the project, Dean Rajiv Grover of the Fogelman College. And Rajiv supported this project in a way that has he has this kind of faith and respect in the creative process that makes him an amazing patron that I hope serves as a model for future patrons. He's kind of my Rockefeller to my Diego Rivera, except I'm hoping without the jackhammers, like no jackhammers, but then, and this, about a year ago, Rajiv took me, he and my amazing Dean Richard Ranta, took me out to lunch and said, we have this idea for a project where there'll be these 3 murals in these 3 stairwells, and they'll be dedicated to the themes of sustainability and ethics. And the purpose of these murals would be to get business students to think more and care more about the future of this planet and social issues and concerns, and not just getting rich, right? So that was it. That was all he told me. He said, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, go. And there was no okay, I need a proposal and our committee needs to review it or anything like that. It was just go and do it. And this was the canvas that I was given, these blank stairwells. And a budget and equipment and stuff like that. So I set to work. And it's not how murals usually work. It's not how big public art projects work. Usually there's a proposal where you have to give them a very detailed, very overly defined and concluded image before you even start, which is not how I work in the studio. It's not how most artists that I know work in the studio. A piece needs to kind of evolve. It needs to grow and stuff like that, right? So, and normally you'll get if you apply to a public art project, the committee has to review it. And this is the second mural that we're just about to conclude, right, in a couple weeks, like 2 weeks. Right now, we're working on this one. But if you get a project, usually there's a committee that reviews the proposal, and you have to make changes, and by the end of it, you don't quite recognize it. So the way I work in the studio is I go in and I don't know what I'm gonna do all the time. I have parts and I have pieces, and I have a vision of how they might come together, and I have this trust that they will come together, but if they come together too quickly, they don't work. It has to be this kind of dance with the materials and this improvisation that happens and this play. And if that play doesn't happen, it doesn't come to life. It doesn't gel, right? And so this image of a terrarium is kind of like how I think of my art. It's like you feed it a little water, you put a little oxygen in there, and you kind of kick it around a little, and something grows, right? But if it's overly determined in advance and the idea has to be defined, that doesn't happen. It kind of doesn't have the space or the air that it needs. So in this process, I had to trust that my materials and pieces would come to be something. But look, there was no sketch. So there was no design. So the team that I hired, they had to trust me that I had some sort of vision, right? And I had to trust them because I couldn't make this happen if they weren't talented enough, and I trusted that they were. And then the dean had to trust me that I could put all these things together and that it would happen and it would work, right? So, and I wasn't sure, and it's constantly happening, but it's happening in this way that is like organic. It grows and it evolves, and it surprises me. Now, usually that doesn't happen for big funded public artworks because there's just too much risk, right? But in this case, my patron had this kind of trust and this faith, and he put that faith in the project, right? So in conclusion, what I would like to say is that I want more things like this to happen. I want to do more things like this, but I also want to see other artists who do amazing work get picked to do a public art project and just told, go for it. Like, do what you do. Dream on this space and kick it around and improvise and play and do something amazing. We don't know what it's going to be in advance, and we don't care. We trust you, right? And that kind of faith I want to see happen in public art. And I hope that we can all do what we can to support that and make that happen. Thank you very much.